From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the #1 resource for independent music. It's the ETX Rock Show, episode number 320, coming at you from Longview, Texas. And for the first time ever on the show, we have a phenomenal, I got the word right, duo from Dallas. It's Ginger Grace, it's Brock. They're Backhand Sally here in the living room for the first time ever. How you guys doing?
Well, good. Yeah.
You guys are still awake.
We are.
After, what, 42 hours of music yesterday?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. We are still awake.
Yeah,
We did take a nap.
We stayed up for about 3 nights yesterday.
Yeah.
Just yesterday.
Just
they were
only
awake
yesterday.
for 3 nights.
Yeah.
So they are here. Usually in the intro of a band or artist that's here, we usually try to tell you what genre they are. That's an impossibility today, though, guys. And you guys are going to find out why that is as we talk with Ginger and Brock about their craft and who they are and where they've been. But you guys did bring some instruments. You're going to play some songs for us.
Yes.
I believe the first one's called Text You When I'm Drunk.
Text You When I Drink.
Text You When I'm Drunk.
Text You When I Drink.
Text You When I Drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the first single.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the video, I didn't know it was written by y'all, so I had a different question. But now that I know they were using different names.
Yeah, we're secret.
Yeah.
So y'all did write this song.
We
and
did
it was
write
the
it.
first single.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the song and how it came to be.
I think with this particular song, it's just a concept that I think everybody's familiar with. You know, you wake up and you look at your phone and you feel the shame and the embarrassment of the events of the night before. And I think we had a friend that or something that was kind of
She only texts us when she's drunk.
She would only text us when she was really drunk, like, hey, what are y'all doing? Let's hang out or something. And I think she said something like, oh, so-and-so.
It's like the 21st century next day.
Yeah.
21st century day
She
after.
said she only
Definitely.
texts us when she drinks, or she's drunk again. She only texts when she drinks, and I'm like, I only text you when I drink. That's a song.
And I think we wrote it in like 5 minutes.
The chords,
it's one of those
the
ones
chords
that's
are
Really?
simple.
quick.
The lyrics are pretty organic, and it just fell together. I mean, we followed like the Zeppelin philosophy on that one. If it didn't go together in 5 minutes, then it wasn't going to happen, and it did. It went together, and away we go. So it's just an organic song about actual life experiences.
Guys, I'm excited to talk with them after the song, after you guys see what they bring to the table. It is Backhand Sally. It's Text You When I Drink. I knew that the whole time. I
know it. I know you were
Text
just
You When I
testing
Drink.
this.
And it's live in the ETX Rocks living room. Y'all check it out.
I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I hardly ever think of you, and you're never on my mind, except for when I'm drinking, which happens to me all the time. I only text you when I drink. They say I have a problem, I'm wasting time. Well, that's not true, I'm just fine. I can put down the bottle and more money a day, but there's so many things I still need to say. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. Well, I'm not lonely, I'm not blue. There's a million things to do, and I I've got friends to fill my time. Whiskey, bourbon, gin, and wine. I can't believe it finally hit me today. I'm living my life in all the wrong ways. With every moment that comes to pass, I find a reason to fill my glass. A river and drink that helps on the pain. Yeah, it makes me weak. Reach to you again. I know I should choose to stop, but I'm not over you, so give me a shot. I'll text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I only text you when I drink.
All right, so we are back. Once again, it's episode 320. And now, so we met through email because of Katie Lynn.
Correct.
It's so many people we've met because of you, Katie and Debbie.
They're great people.
Absolutely.
Katie Lynn?
Oh, whatever.
It's okay. Brock, he slept for
5 minutes.
half a day yesterday.
He does all the driving, so he doesn't get to sleep much.
Yeah. I took a nap on the way over here, so I'm good.
And he was driving,
Yeah,
which is
no,
perfect. Thank God I-20 is really straight.
It is in cruise control. You're good to go.
She's got this new Honda, you know. It's got this auto thing where it'll actually correct your steering for you.
Does it really?
It's kind of annoying.
Oh, that's scary.
But also cool. Yeah, it'll drive for you for a while.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit scary.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Push the
thing.
little button cruise control. You just put the little night thing on there.
Wow.
It's not a Tesla, so we're not there yet. Not yet.
All right, so the main reason why we have the show, and Katie can attest to this, is because of songwriting. We love to talk about songwriting and kind of trying to figure out what makes an artist tick. And so we have two different artists here today. First of all, I got to know how you guys met. I think that'd be an interesting story for everybody.
Well, that one was Escape Pina Colada.
Oh my gosh.
Rupert Holmes,
Yeah.
really?
No. I was tired of my lady. No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
And then we were the same people.
It was an ad, you know. Back, you know. I was actually just telling the story last night, and you know, you think about the things the way you used to do things, and it's like, man, that's really pretty sketchy. You know, like I used to get on Craigslist and stuff back in the day, and people, I need a guitar player, I need a singer, whatever the case may be, and I would just go with my bag, my gear, and my amp and everything, and just drive off to the middle of nowhere in the sticks, you know.
Sounds like you were living, wanted, dead or alive.
Yeah, and I, you know, and looking back, and I'm like, man, I would just go to these people's houses without even knowing these people and audition for these bands and take all of my gear with me into random places that I've never been, and you know, just it always looked like a group of people that you never really wanted to be around, you know, these musician types. But she had a thing. She was doing a project, and I need a guitar player, this and that. Actually, now that I'm telling that story, I had auditioned for a group that she was in previous to that.
A group I was in based out of Fort Worth.
And I went audition, and they
did not get the job.
They kicked me out. You know, they didn't like me.
The keyboard player and the drummer or somebody didn't like the fact that he didn't bring a lot of stuff. Like he didn't bring a lot of pedals.
You walk into these things and you're like, I'm not going to take all of my really expensive gear, so I took a simple guitar.
Just be playing it safe.
Yeah, a simple guitar and a simple amp, and I'm like, they're just going to see if I can play, and I could play, and I didn't take pedals and I didn't take effects
such a
and
weird
anything,
thing.
and apparently the thing was, we didn't like him because he didn't bring a whole lot of effects and the pedals and the big amp and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, see you later. You know, 7, 8, 9 months later, I go to another ad and I go to it
wasn't even an audition.
Yeah,
you just came to a gig.
She said, I got a gig, and I'm like, I'll show up for a gig. You know, the money was right, and we had talked on the phone, and I'm like, man, this house kind of looks familiar, you know. I'm like, gosh, this chair.
We sat through,
good-looking
I think,
chair.
2 whole sets before. It was the bass player was the same, and I was the same, and we were like, man, we know that guy. Don't we know that guy?
I think I had like my hair had grown out a little bit, you know, and I go. She's like, we know this guy, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, you know. I don't know any of you guys, you know. And then she goes, you came to that thing in Fort Worth or something, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway. So we met doing a project of hers, and I was just playing guitar at the time, and that thing kind of dissolved, and we were just kind of left, and we were just we should just put our powers combined.
Become the dynamic duo that we are today.
and away we go. We didn't look back from there. So we got rid of everybody else, and we got new people.
Got rid of them all. They're all buried somewhere.
We're not exactly sure, but that was
probably
6 years
back
ago.
in these woods around here. But
statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Texas might be the only place that has a statute of limitations on murder. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Don't take that to heart.
Now, the musical backgrounds go back a long ways for both of you guys, though. I know that you have experience with Vince Vance, and
I do. I was in the mix of doing my own stuff, touring with Vince Vance and the Valiants as a Valianette, as Venus Valianette. We all get a name, and then everybody holds on to those names like until you die, or because nobody retires from the Valianettes. We all go back in and pick up a show here or there, and that was a cool experience for me because I toured and got to just learn a different aspect of that side of the music business, of being on a tour bus and not taking a shower, and what it's really like. Not the stuff that you see on the stage with the sequins and the glitz and the glamour, but like what being a musician is.
grunt work.
Yeah, is that something you're really cut out for? Well, you learn real fast once you're out on the road, and I was, but it also taught me that I didn't want to be in somebody else's project forever. So that was another thing of, it's like I need to do my own thing and write my own music. And Vince was kind of a cornerstone of that and real supportive of that. And it's like, you've got good songs and you've got a good voice and you should do it yourself because I'm not going to help you make money, for yourself.
Right.
So yeah, he's a cool guy.
Now, reading your questionnaire, you guys both have a lot of experience in cover bands or variety acts or whatever you want to call it. But you guys have transitioned now to original music. What has that evolution been like for you guys collectively?
Well, I think it's an evolution, and it's a growth, and it's sort of it's a precursor to our a lot of the inspiration has come from our cover days. You've mentioned our variety. It was instilled upon me in my early playing days that not really to learn songs, but to learn styles and to really keep my ears open, so that if I got a call for a country gig, I could walk into a country gig and play country music. If I got a call for a blues thing, I could walk in and play blues, etc., rock, jazz, Americana, etc., so on and so forth. So being in all kinds of cover bands, and I've been in all kinds of. We've both been. I mean, I've walked in. I walked in on a Saturday night with with the cowboy hat and the Wranglers and the boots and everything, and then the next thing walked cut up, torn up jeans, grunge shirt and everything, and just gone from one gig to the next, and having that all that kind of variety on our influences is gone. So you're asking about the transition and the evolution. Having the ability to go all of those styles and then putting that into now our own music, it gets a little bit convoluted at times and a little difficult, I think, to say, oh, well, they're a country band or they're this band. So
I just like too many different styles of music to just only write and play
at
one
home,
style.
We're both at home with Merle Haggard, and we're both at home with the Beatles and Maroon 5, and I mean there's no point in even talking about the names.
It's a lot of Fleetwood Mac kind of vibes with what you guys have going on.
I think that people we have a duo part, and the Mac was largely the Stevie and Lindsay thing, and the on and off again, on again, and relationship and this and that and everything. I think it's really easy because of our just personality dynamic to say
if you catch one of our shows,
we do a lot of that in our performances as well. Oh, I'm mad at her, she's mad at me, and most of it's pretty genuine.
Sometimes it's real.
Sometimes it's real.
Why are you playing the wrong chords?
Screwing up every single time? And so we have a lot of the dynamic. I think that I don't think you could really replicate something like Lindsay and Stevie, but
right.
I think
we have some. Is a good one.
Their persona has really been a good influence for us.
They're still around 50 years later for a reason.
Yeah,
obviously.
Absolutely.
So
and then musically, they had a lot of blues influence, before Stevie and Lindsay. So we'd also have some of those influences as well. So we
I feel like you have to have that influence in Texas. I mean, you have to be living under a rock not to have blues influences here.
Well, I'm from Louisiana, so even having it there too, you know, that
blues
kind of
and
Delta
blues and country, blues and country. I personally I don't see any difference between blues and country. And I
steel guitar.
I know that's going to sound like a
that's the
thing,
difference.
but if you listen to the songs, you know, well, my baby done and left me. Okay, that's a blues thing, you know. But then, you know, well, my baby done and left me. I mean, it's the same thing. It's despair. It's singing about, you know, your heart or your emotion or being left or, you know, having a crappy day.
The experiences and the perspective is very, very similar.
Yeah,
so blues and country is the same thing in my opinion, and it's just no versus, you know, like a country picking. But exactly, not being able to have those influences here in Texas, you'd have to be.
I was going to add to why did we make the switch? People asked for it. They did. They started saying, when are you going to put something original out? And we were writing, because you do that when you sit around and you're playing and you're writing and like songs come and like, why don't we just do it? Well, let's just do it. And so we do, because you get in your brain, I need a promoter, or I need a label, or I need this. But not anymore, you don't. You can just do it yourself now.
That's
so
right.
That's
So I'm curious, you know, we talked a little bit during the live stream that usually when I hear a song, I try to put myself in the room with the songwriter. So you guys are being pushed to write songs from your fans. You guys are already writing. I mean, obviously your fans may not know that unless you're actually playing the songs live. So what's it like in that room for both of you? Because now you're writing songs. You're already saying, Brock, you're saying, yeah, sometimes the fights are real on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what the give and take was like as songwriters.
There's no give and take in the room. It's all take.
Whatever.
No.
You can start. So our songwriting processes are funny. I'll come to him and I'm like, I have an idea for a song.
Nope, hate it.
I have a yeah, a lot of times he'll say, it's another mid-tempo, whatever song. But usually, if it's a good hook or something, we know that it is. And his music technical ability is much greater than mine, like chord-wise, and his knowledge of that. And that really helps a lot with making the songs better and prettier and not just simple 3-chord songs. And then sometimes mine is like, let's steer that back into a direction where non-jazz people will like it too.
It's a dichotomy for sure. There's an old I can't remember if it's Dickie Betts or it might have been one of the Allman Brothers or something. He's talking about writing the blues, for example, and he says the blues is 3 chords. He says you either have a blues song where it's just real empty in 3 chords, or you just try to put too much stuff into it and it just gets real convoluted and confusing, you know, and trying to find a balance is a real difficult thing to write a good blues song. Well, that was for the Allman Brothers, and it's the same thing for us because I come from a little bit different background where I'm all about the jazz chords. I'm all about the theory. I'm all about the embellishments and I don't really like to play just a basic major chord. I'd rather play a substitution or alternate voicing or something.
I can tell you as a listener, that's what makes you guys phenomenal.
Well, and we appreciate that. But what I have found and what we have found is that when I get too far off into my own world, I do too many substitutions and I get away from the sort of the pop common listener, and it's no longer something that's relatable. And it sounds, a little more jazzy, and she is not even a slight, just has a simpler approach, more of a pop approach, to where she can kind of reel me back in and say, you're getting, like, you put too many, minor 9th chords in here, and it's no longer a pop song.
The balance is awesome.
It's no longer a pop
song. It's like the songs
I
hear from you guys, the guitar is leading the way for me. Like, man, I'm digging the guitar every single time.
Thank you.
It's really good stuff. But, we have a friend of ours named Rio Wallace, who's a phenomenal guitar player out of Kilgore. And you remind me a lot of him in the way you talk about things, the nuances and the technical side of the guitar. People out there don't realize how deep and intricate the instrument is until you start talking to somebody like
that's
Brock.
Really, yeah.
So the struggle is got to be real for you, man.
Well, again, in a lot of artists, you find this in all flavors of music, country music, rock music. You hear a lot of these guys talking about the 3-chord guys, the really simple players. Man, he's just playing simple chords, but everybody's listening to him. And then you got this guy learning all the scales and all the modes and all of this and that, and nobody gives a crap about that guy, right? Well, I mean, the average listener can only process what they're capable of listening to, which is what they've been, by the radio sort of. They've been programmed to listen to certain things. So you do have to push the envelope, but at the same time, you got to make your music relatable, both lyrically. I mean, if we wrote lyrics like a thespian,
Well, there's that one song. I mean, if we do some, we throw in words like
maneuver.
I think one of our favorite ones is sieve. Is another.
That's a great word.
Yeah. But if
I caught that word actually.
So in a similar sentence, if you write your chords like in Old English, basically. In Shakespearean sort of lingo,
your audience is very limited.
You're not going to have the same connection with the audience who doesn't speak that language. The current language now is is LOL, OMG, blah blah.
It's probably not good if you have people Googling words after they.
Right. No.
So you don't ever want to be that difficult.
We do want to push the envelope and write our stuff a little more intricate, but at the same time, it's still got to be a little bit relatable. And I mean, I have a hard time saying this without it sounding inappropriate, but I try to have like listening relationships with younger people, like teenagers and
just kids
and stuff, because they have a really pure sort of ear for just what sounds good. And if I can write a song that a 15-year-old could listen to and say, hey, I hear that sounds like it's on the radio or something, I really relate to that, then I feel like in my mind that we've done something that's relatable to the general audience. If the guy's 65 years old and is like a Harvard scholar or something and he appreciates it, well, he's not the average man.
That's true.
So that doesn't do us anything. I hate to get to your question before you want, but that's the why of what we do. I mean, the why is just to get out there and have people listen to our music. We don't necessarily care what the genre is.
No, I just want people to hear the songs. We just want people
to listen to what we've got to say.
We think they're
good.
It's
the everyday struggle for an artist, a creative being, between creativity and commercialism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is what you guys are dealing with. Every single songwriter deals with it. Because you want to be true to your artisticness, but also you want to be sellable.
That's right.
As well, and that balance has to be there. And it sounds like it almost sounds like she's your checks and balances for that.
Sometimes,
no.
yeah, sometimes.
He says no.
No.
We catch each other both on that, though. He'll even tell me sometimes, he's like, no.
Sometimes I'm just like, you're just too boring, too slow.
Yeah,
you're
and
too boring.
Because we both have styles that are our own, that we're still meshing together. So.
But there's a lot of strategy here from both of y'all.
Yeah.
I think you touched on a group, Fleetwood Mac, and you listen to them talk, and they'll say the same thing. Stevie will say, it really takes a lot out of a person to give something to someone
and let them change it,
and let them alter it or make changes without taking it personally, because she'll write something. Or either I'll do something and we put a lot of effort into it, and it's really personal when the other person comes back and says, no, it's crap. Let me rearrange. Oh, I really like no. But that just comes from the trust of knowing that
Dreams would be an example.
Yeah.
One of the best songs ever that they took from her and dissected it, put it back together, and made it a much better song.
It was an amazing song, too.
So she's
and by the way, it was better after it was dissected.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard the version before.
And she just had the core of, and then that's the way we'll approach certain things is, and you asking us what it's like in the recording room or the writing process or anything, you can get really personal because she can write something and I'm like, I can't stand this, this is putting me to sleep or something.
Well, I think we do try to be pretty professional. Once we go into that mode, we know that it's
coming from a good spot, but at the same time, you can't help but have a little bit of a personal.
They're like babies. Every song you write,
Well, it's like I hear like pop vibes creeping into your music, just ever so slightly.
Probably me. Maybe.
And like I talked to Brock, and I find it hard to believe that like pop is even on your agenda is not the right word, but like even within your wheelhouse.
It is.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have no qualm against pop music. There's nothing wrong. At the end, if I have something to say and I write a traditional blues song, I'm gonna have this audience.
Right.
Okay. But if I can write that same song and make it pop, then this is my audience. Okay. It's a very simple concept. So
How do you do that while staying true to your creativity, though?
Well, I mean, if you've listened to the music, you know, Clapton had said something. He said, well, I always felt that I could make any kind of music. I'm doing a horrible.
That wasn't bad.
I don't do impersonations very good. But he, and I'll just talk on my own voice. He said he felt he could make any kind of music, but his guitar playing would always be blues. So if you listen to every song Clapton's ever done, he's got some reggae, he's got, of course, blues, he's got rock, some jazz things. Layla's kind of a jazz thing. But the guitar playing will always be blues, right? Well,
yeah.
So how do we stay true to what we're doing? I mean, her as a vocalist, when she's singing her songs, whether we're writing a pop song or this and that, she's always going to have her true singing style. I'm always going to have my own playing style in whatever we write. So it doesn't matter the song. We're going to have elements of our own personality and our own creativity that we're keeping in there. We're not just dismissing it and throwing it away entirely. We're just sort of Zappa, who he said the other day he wanted to write opera music when he was a teenager, and there was no audience for that in the 60s, and rock and roll was huge. He said, okay, I'll write rock and roll music, and that's how you had the Mothers
He said
of
it in
Invention,
the 80s, but we watched it the other day.
he said that in the 80s, and this stuff never changes, folks. I mean, you could do this interview in the 80s, or you could do it now, and it never changes. You know, if you have an audience listening to whatever at the time is current, that you look at the people that have been active for 40 and 50 years, you'll hear evolution in their music. Or they have
it has to be that way, or
you
you're
have
stagnant.
I mean, the Stones wrote a disco song, for
Right.
example. Miss You is a disco song.
They have a whole blues
They have
album
a whole
that people don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole like not blues, like country album that people don't really know about.
So,
Well, Elvis is a good example of all of that too. Like he was just a genre on a whim. Like, hey, you know what? I feel like doing a gospel album next week.
I love Elvis.
yeah,
You know?
I mean, and he...
And when you were talking about a guy that knew exactly 1.5 chords in the guitar too, so
Even less on the piano. But he
fooled-
magically can play all that stuff on stage.
He fooled a lot of people, as he said.
he sure did. He sure did fool a lot of people.
He fooled a lot of
You're
people.
damn right.
And he can sing, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's a lot of strategy here, and between both of y'all, and it seems like the strategies line up quite a bit. But when you guys are in the room writing, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can think of as a non-creative being, things like business and selling it, and what genre is this going to be? You know, all of those things can enter the conversation. Do they enter the conversation when you're writing
absolutely. Again, without the commercial aspect of it, then again we have no audience. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of look back, and some of the really great bands to me that have taken advantage of that, for like right off the bat, thinking like Kiss is in my mind right now. You know, I mean, these guys had dolls, action figures, arcade games, pinball machines, right? So they're, you know, we're not at that level right now.
But we think about it when we write songs.
You're trying to tell me there's no Backhand Sally pinball machine?
There will be.
There will be.
I promise you that conversation has taken place.
Nice.
Because that logo on a pinball machine, come on.
But I think so. Looking at it from a business perspective, and they're one and the same to me. You know, the business part and the creative part. You don't have one without the other. You look at a band like even like Motley Crue, they're kind of hot right now. We just watched the movie, right? So, you know, I listen to a Motley Crue song, and people want to say, oh, that's hair metal or glam. I think Motley Crue is pop music. There's no question about it in my mind. They are pop music with guitars, with electric guitars. And there was a business decision behind that. I don't know who in the group had the business mind. It might have been Nikki Sixx, perhaps, but I think even in the movie they said he couldn't play or anything like that, which is fine.
He was a terrible bass player, but it didn't matter.
You know, it didn't matter. He had
Motley Crue, man.
He had a business sense. And the song Van Halen is another one.
Bon Jovi.
You're gonna call them
same type of deal.
Call them rock music, but they're just pop music. And at the time, it was, you know, that rock was just pop culture. But it's all from somebody having the business thing to say, hey, you know, the songs that you guys are doing, we're gonna make them call it rock.
I think
and
when we go into a song, we write a song. Well, one of the songs that we'll play is an example. It's like I started drawing a T-shirt for it before we finished the song, because I thought, yeah, that's gonna look great on a shirt, And
I'm talking about cougar.
Yeah, and women are gonna love wearing that. That demographic, they're gonna want to wear that shirt. And then we finish the song, and that shirt's still gonna come. It's still gonna come out, because those are the business decisions you make to go along with the song. I'm like, where's my bobblehead to go along with
the bobblehead?
Yeah.
The cougar bobblehead.
Yes, the cougar bobblehead.
There's a lot you could do with that.
Yeah.
And we will. It's all coming eventually.
So how quick are you guys in the songwriting phase before you know what genre the song is? Or does that ever even happen until it's done?
I never really...
Not until we finish.
I never put any thought to think, oh, well, this is a country song. Or
The only reason why we even have to consider it is... that people in the music know is metadata on a song, and you have to attach it. You have to put a genre on it.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't. And you can put 2, I think. So usually I stick with 1 and then add... Like if it's really a rock song, that's the second one I put on there.
Which is funny, because when you emailed us your answer to genre,
it might have said Americana.
I think it was just like 9 of them or something.
Yeah, 9, because so many.
But yeah, you started with Americana.
Yeah, because it gets us in the...
So I'm like, okay, cool. Americana.
And technically we are.
But see, well, Americana is just like, for me, it's, as a listener, as a fan of music, it's just a catch-all. For me,
exactly.
It's like if somebody doesn't know who or what they are, or somebody else doesn't know what or who someone is, well, they're Americana. They're American music. Like that. It's just
something
that's
that
no different than saying American food.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah, well, American food is the same kind of deal, though. Like, how can you classify American food? Like, American food could be so many different things.
Italian pizza.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Americana. So when I hear Americana, typically what I'm thinking of, well, Americana is kind of the new term for country and western, almost. You know what I mean? Like, if we're traditional country, then nowadays in the 21st century they call us Americana. Like, for example, Willie Nelson is considered Americana in the 21st century, but he's country. Where I come from, Willie Nelson is country.
Outlaw country for sure.
So yeah, Willie Nelson is absolutely Americana now, which just boggles my mind. It makes no sense. I often wonder what Willie Nelson thinks about that.
Well, the thing about Willie, a lot of people don't understand about his playing is, so he's a big Django Reinhardt protege who was a gypsy jazz guitar player.
Right.
So when you listen to Willie's guitar playing, by the way, when you have an icon like Willie, they somehow or another become so enamored that they become underrated, which is it's a curious concept, because people don't really know how great of a guitar player he is, and he's a fantastic guitar. He's a gypsy jazz guitar player. So when he writes country music, he has a lot of these embellished chords, as sort of jazz chords and alternate voicings that you don't typically hear in a, say, like like a Hank Senior type song or something. So to say that he's not country, that he's more Americana, kind of makes sense, because he is more these traveling sort of gypsies from ages ago. So he that.
Well, the point I was trying to make is, when someone emails us and says, "Yeah, we're Americana," and then sometimes they'll put "ish."
I feel like I always put a / multi-genre.
Right.
Because.
And then I'm listening to the songs, and I think the One Pack of Cigarettes, you're like, "This is the Americana song."
Yeah.
And so I clicked on it, and I was like, oh my God, dude, this is freaking incredible.
It kind of came from somebody who told me, like, you have to pick something. I was like,
but
I don't want to.
But you can't, though.
It's
you
too
can't
hard.
with this. You just can't.
Yeah, it's hard. But I said, I'll pick something, and it seems to just kind of open a little window.
Right.
And then once we get past that point, nobody cares anymore.
Right.
And that was the point with that. So
awesome. So, guys, we're sitting with Backhand Sally. It's episode number 320. We're going to be right back with another song from Backhand Sally right after this message from a former guest. Y'all check it out.
Hi, I'm Frankie Lee. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS show.
All right, guys, so we are back. It's episode number 320, again featuring Backhand Sally. And we are going to get into a second song, which I'm really excited about you guys hearing, because I hadn't heard it before today, and it's freaking hilarious. But we'll talk about that in a minute. What I wanted to talk a little bit about with you guys is a concept you guys ran with called covers, right, on YouTube?
BS does covers.
BS does covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did some digging.
I did. Apparently, this is 2 or 3 years old. You guys have stopped doing this, but what was the kind of the strategy behind this
challenge that I gave to you? I said every day in the month of August we're gonna make a video.
I think that's where it started, right?
That's where it started, and we did it. That was tough. I didn't know how hard that would be.
And I mean, it was all kinds of different songs, man. It was
and that
crazy.
was the other reason
you know,
why.
that what we found is people just like to be jerks, you know.
Yeah.
And you give somebody like some freedom to say, it's like, hey, we're gonna do 30 songs of covers. What do you want to hear, you know? And you sometimes people would just be like, oh, I want to hear, you know, Common song by George Strait or whatever, and then you get these just the B side of the third studio album
played some stuff
from so and so.
I highly
Green
suggest
Acres and High Tide.
Yeah, Green Acres.
And it's like
trap
okay,
music.
you know, and then somebody comes up. Do y'all know any trap songs? You know, they're like, and it's the same kind of people. And I don't want to disrespect our fans, but these people think that they're really brilliant by asking, you know, people like us, you know, if we can play Freebird or
can you
rap, yeah, right, or rap music or something, and we kind of pride ourselves on being, you know what, yeah,
we do it,
man, we can.
We
you know?
usually
so
do it.
We had a request last night. We're playing this
for rap.
Yeah, this girl says, "Can y'all play any rap music?"
And so we did.
Damn right, we could play
some Fetty
rap
Wap
music. So we did trap. I think it was Fetty Wap,
yeah,
and then we did another. Rap sort of
the
thing,
Lady Marmalade, the one that has the rap in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And,
so you know that's
Is there video of this? I want to see this.
No, not from last night's.
Yeah,
that was a strange.
We should
performance.
have the Fetty Wap thing, but
the Fetty Wap thing is on our.
But that's where it started. Was we were just trying to kind of get ourselves out there a little bit and get our fans involved in the process and giving them a voice to say what songs they wanted to hear and then you requested it, we're gonna do it. Screw you, man. You know, you wanted it, we did it, and we did it. So.
I love the concept, man. I love any time a band or an artist puts together something that's outside the norm. And so when I'm researching you guys, and obviously, you sent me the 3 songs, and they were on YouTube. So of course I'm gonna dig a little deeper on YouTube. And man, I was seeing this BS does covers like 40 times, and I was like, oh my god, this is great.
I thought you had deleted all of that.
Nope, it's all saved in like one little folder of albums.
I think any time you can put something on anything that's Googleable and shareable and all of that, it's brilliant. Because it puts your name on people's lips. You were talking about, 20 views. Well, that's 20 views. That's 20 people that watched that.
And see it, you know.
Yeah.
So, after having this conversation, it might be something that we...
I think we might revisit that in
Any
August.
requests that you have?
Do I have a request for Backhand
request?
Sally? Well, we were talking about Dreams earlier with Stevie
We can
Nicks.
always do that one. That's a favorite of ours.
Play that one with my toes, man. I mean, that one's...
So you're wanting something hard.
No, I don't want anything. Dreams is fine, you know.
No, we like
Dreams. No, well, how about No Diggity?
I think that,
You've seen the
videos.
He's already watched it, man. You're not even challenging us, man. You're just
no doubt.
You're just throwing up the stuff we've already done. You know?
Although that is one that when we cover it, it never fails. There'll be somebody way in the back not paying attention, and we'll do No Diggity, and they turn around and they're like, "What? Where'd that come from?"
We played a party yesterday, a private party, and we were just background music for the whole thing. And then out of nowhere, I'm like, "Play the song." I'm like pointing at the thing. I'm not gonna play it, woman. You know. We started playing Afro Man, you know.
Oh, because I got high.
Nice,
because I got high. And then everybody in the pool just turns and
like,
looks, and they're
"Why,
like,
man?
Why?
Why?"
You know, the part, because I got high. So it's kind of funny when you can go from, and you're not even being obnoxious about it. You could just play a simple song, and then everybody's paying attention to you all of a sudden. So when you're live, we know how to get people's attention.
Mm-hmm. We listen
subtly, you know,
to conversations while we're playing.
We're not going to be.
We don't.
I mean, we're when we're acoustic. I mean, we're ears all over. Yeah, we're singing.
Attention.
Yeah, we're playing, but we're listening to what they're talking about and what they're saying behind our backs. You know, and some of it's trash talking, a lot of it's complimentary. But you know, like, oh, this band doesn't even play any. You know, inserts the autos are. You know what? Screw you.
Well, we got yesterday.
Yeah.
Some guy was like, "Yeah, but I bet they can't do
Billy
Ray Cyrus.
Bet y'all can't play Billy Ray Cyrus."
And we were like,
whatever, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Old Town Road.
So
yeah,
that's where the YouTube came from.
I just like interactiveness, man, and
we're super interactive.
Yeah, it's really, really smart to do that in a social media aspect as well. Even if it's not YouTube, even if it's any of the platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I know YouTube is such a it's an unusual beast.
It's
say
fickle.
the least.
I like
it's very
YouTube,
fickle.
but
Great
you know,
word.
better than Facebook, because Facebook used to have that thing where you couldn't put any covers on there. They would delete the audio.
Oh yeah. I
Then
know.
everybody was getting around that by, I do not own the contents, you know, I don't own the rights to this, but Facebook finally stepped up and started paying BMI and ASCAP for performance rights, like YouTube, and because they were losing money.
Right.
They were like, oh, everybody's over on YouTube because, you know, YouTube is doing the right thing, and Facebook got, in fact, I think we made 4 cents off of Facebook recently.
I think really.
For real?
Yeah.
You make money on Facebook?
Yeah, anytime our music is, if I post a direct link or something, I can't remember how it works, but if they access it through Facebook, then it's like
nice.
a penny
I
or something.
think people like us and perhaps yourself. I don't know too much of your own background, or you know, you've talked to us a lot about your social media. I think a lot of us really kind of unfairly expect a little too much, because frankly for us, we don't put any money into Facebook.
Right.
We don't put any money into. There's some sponsored things here and there,
Every now
but
and
by
then.
and large, the thing that people like ourselves fail to acknowledge is these are free resources.
Yep.
And we get really crappy about it, like, oh, they took our video down, or we're not getting the experience, you know, the exposure. These are free tools that we're not really paying for ourselves. So it's for us to expect that they're going to do this or they're going to do that for us. You know, nobody's going to do anything.
Well, not
for
only
you.
that, but to even go a step further from that, I mean, back in the 80s, what did you have?
Well, tapes and radio stations.
posters.
Oh, well, you had that guy sitting at the radio station saying, yeah, I'll play it, or no, I won't play it. And
Yeah.
that was your
Yeah.
avenue.
Right.
That
yeah.
was your
that was
road.
it.
And if that road was closed, then you weren't an artist anymore.
Sure. I mean,
You
and
know?
you know, like with the social media things, is people, there's so much frustration from smaller groups like ourselves, but I mean, at the end of the day, Facebook doesn't owe us anything, and we
Except
get,
4 cents, apparently.
yeah, force that.
Well-
We're getting a damn check for that. I guarantee you that.
Something, though, that I've
The check is
discovered.
worth more than the 4 cents.
So we've been around since 2013, but in the last, let's say, 3 years, from the time we did BS Does Covers, and we've been talking about bringing that back, is now our fan base has grown considerably, organically and social media wise, and et cetera, et cetera. And so it still took people 6 years to grow fan bases in the 80s. It seems like today it goes faster because of
It
social
really
media,
doesn't, yeah.
but it doesn't. You still have to do the legwork. You still
Still
have
one
to do the
person
hard
at a
work.
time.
Yeah.
You still got to shake hands
20
and kiss
views
babies
at
and
a
all of
time,
that.
yeah.
And social media, but
I love shaking hands, man.
you'll have a kid
Yeah.
who posts one
It's
video.
all about shaking
Yeah.
babies and kissing,
Kissing
hands.
hands.
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
at the end of the day, social media or not, it's a beast that you can't get around. So you just have to use
I
it.
think when you sit back and you look at it for what it is, then you lose a little frustration. Look, Facebook has every right, and Instagram and all these platforms have every right to make money for themselves, and they don't
and give
they
us
don't-
our 4 cents every now and then.
give us nothing, you know, unless we're paying, you know, sponsoring or whatever
We
the
do,
case may
but
be.
yeah.
Right.
But once you see it from that, like YouTube, you know, YouTube was really great 10, 15 years ago as a musician, because I could watch a video of an artist I liked. I could watch, say, like a Stevie Ray Vaughan video, and then on the right it would be like related artists.
Right.
And I'm like,
Yep.
oh man, well this, I did never heard of this guy.
Right.
He's related to this guy. Okay, cool. And I click on the video, and then it would, you know, related video. Oh, I've never heard of this guy, and I would just keep. I remember just sitting.
It's
at
a
the
continuous
computer,
loop.
just
Yeah.
thing. But now all I see on YouTube
That's what
is
you've already seen on YouTube.
is what I've already seen in sponsored videos, and videos that, you know, it's the girl with the jugs, right, the huge rack and the guitar playing, and she's getting 35
Oh, I
million.
haven't seen this video
You
yet.
know,
What's
no,
going
I'll
on?
send you the link.
yeah, I'll send you the link. But there's a million, you know, 35 million.
She's a meme.
35, and there's several of them. I you know, because I'm an idiot.
It's funny. My recommended videos is singer-songwriters, talk shows, video games.
We must obviously have
and-
different search parameters.
Yeah,
because
and somehow Donald Trump always gets in
Donald
there, too.
Trump,
Like,
It's
yeah.
that make
it's
make
that-
music
that
great again or whatever.
magic hat, you know? But unfortunately, what I'm finding on YouTube lately is the same small loop of videos and the same sponsored videos. Whereas, like I said, 15 years ago, I could just get lost in it and stay up, and, you know, stay
Maybe
up
they're
three
doing you a
weeks
favor.
one night.
Right.
You know?
Algorithms are always ever changing.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
It's
doing
like
you
as soon as
a
you
favor.
figure it out, they change it on you.
Well, sure,
Yeah,
and
you know.
and all they're trying to do is maximize their own profits, and
Right.
they have every right to do that. So, you know, we got to get back to, like you said, you know, finding a way to make these YouTube videos.
The interactiveness of that was so cool because not only was it you guys playing music and playing covers, but you guys were speaking too.
Yeah.
And so when I'm watching these videos, I'm getting to know you as people, not just as musicians.
No, you're not.
No, I really was.
No.
He's getting to know us as
entertainers, not as people.
Oh, you don't think so, huh? Right. So,
there's the image and then there's a real person, you know.
Are you sure it's not one and the same?
Elvis said that.
Well, Elvis also wore 3 different religions symbols on his necklace just because he didn't want to get kicked out of heaven on a technicality.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, all of his bases covered, you know.
Yeah, I think he had a cross.
Which God is right, you know.
Yeah,
well, I've got the star.
He had a cross, a Star of David, and a Buddha. A
nice
Buddha.
That's funny.
And a reporter asked him about it one time, and that was his answer. I don't want to get kept out of heaven on a technicality.
Yeah. That's great.
That's good.
So, yeah, Elvis was a funny cat, that's for sure. And speaking of funny cats, let's talk about Cougar.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
So tell us about the song. How did it come to be?
Oh man, you know, alcohol is you know
it's a hell of a drug.
As a famous Rick James quote, right? You know, alcohol is just a hell of a drug, and I think it allows. This is not news, okay? This has been around forever, but alcohol will let people say the things that they don't normally, you know, say or make the conversations they don't normally do, and we've played a lot of bars, and we've been to a lot of bars, both as professionals and both as drunks, you know, and just the things that women will say to you at a bar, you know.
Women will just come up to him and lay it all out there,
you know, and it's like, you know, here's this, right, you know,
a certain demographic of ladies.
Certain demographic, and I think the you know, again, I mentioned this earlier, that the song is really a celebration of that. There's something very, I don't have like a particular demographic that I only do this or something, but I think there is a, you know, appeal to a woman who has reached an age where she doesn't have time for just bullshit, BS, just, you know, she's
no
like,
little girl maneuvers.
Yeah, no little girl maneuvers, you know, like, they don't have a whole lot of drama, you know, they're just like, look, here's the place, here's the time, you know, are we doing this or not, you know, and they
cut to the chase.
They will put it to you, they will really put it to you that way, and you're like, oh, you know, I gotta go to church or something, you know, this is the way I.
Does that work for you?
Oh, never, but gosh, I think one of them I shouldn't say this in public, but one of my favorite ones was I was young, much younger than I am. And this woman, she played it so good, man. I had to give her props because she says, hey, so, you know, we're at a bar, and she's telling the bar, you know, give him a double, you know, and get him a double while he's waiting, and this and that, and I'm an idiot, right? Because I'm like, yeah, she's buying, okay, right? This is working great for me. And then she says, hey, a few of my friends are coming over to my house afterwards, you know, you want to come over? And I'm like, yeah, I love friends, you know, and I show up, and it's like, where's your friends, you know? And she's just like, well, you know, they're gonna be here, you know, and she's like, let me just go change real quick, you know. And I'm like, okay, you know, and her idea of changing into something more comfortable and my idea of changing into something more comfortable were slightly different. And you know, the forwardness of it, I was just like, you know, and here I am, like, in my own mind, like, I have to write a song about this, you know, because this is brilliant, you know. I may not be 25 anymore, but, you know, right? I'm like, wow, that's a lyric, you know. What is the lyric? You know, I'm 25 where it matters, or still something.
Well, we can play the song for them.
Yeah, well, the song will come up and you'll hear the lyric, but you know, that's where it comes from, and again, some of it is our own creativity, but 9.9 of it is
real life.
It's awesome stuff.
It's just
I had not heard the song prior to today, and I'm happy they shared it with us today because it's completely different than everything else they do.
Yep.
It's Cougar live in the ETX ROCKS living room from Backhand Sally. Y'all check it out.
Well, I sat down at the bar and she offered to buy me a drink. I politely declined, but she ordered and gave me a wink. The bartender smiled as he slammed down my glass and said, she's got her eye on you, boy, so you better run fast. She turned and said I looked like someone she knew, ran her fingers through my hair and whispered things she'd like to do. I looked at her, a little confused. already feeling just a little bit used. She said she was just like Jesse's girl, and she would do things that would change my world. I really didn't know who she was talking about, but a good look at her and I wanted to find out. She said, yeah, don't be scared, don't you be ashamed. I won't tell you no lies or play no games. I promise you this ain't no little girl maneuver. I'm a bona fide, a guaranteed, a certified, a cougar, yeah. A cougar. Well, it was almost 2 and the choice was mine. I had to admit that she was pretty fine. It was time to decide one way or another. I knew what I wanted to do, but damn it, she was older than my mother. She said, this is just for fun. I put young girls to shame. I won't tell you no lies or play no games. I promise you this ain't no little girl maneuver. I'm a bona fide, a guaranteed, a certified, a cougar, yeah. She wasn't looking for love or sweet romance. I didn't even need to ask her to dance. She said she was older than the girls I was after, but she feels 25 where it matters. She said, yeah, just like fine wine, I've gotten better with age. I won't tell you no lies or play no games. I promise you this ain't no little girl maneuver. I'm a bona fide, a guaranteed, a certified, a cougar, yeah.
Okay, so we are back once again. That was Cougar from Backhand Sally live in the ETX Rocks living room. And first of all, I want to thank you guys for spending some time with us today. I know you guys had a long day yesterday, 3 nights worth of playing.
Yes,
and you're welcome.
I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you for having us. I have family just like right down the road in Henderson.
Yeah,
so
Henderson.
Longview has some. I've spent some time over in Longview. My grandmother died in Longview, so.
Well, I was going to say I'm sorry about spending time in Longview, but now I have to say I'm sorry about your grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
But I'll just apologize for both.
Yeah, I don't blame it on Longview. She just happened to be at the hospital here in Longview.
Apology accepted.
Apology accepted.
So again, it's Backhand Sally. If people are hearing about y'all for the first time, where can they follow along with everything?
BackhandSallyMusic.com has everything, but if you just Google Backhand Sally, we're the first thing that comes up. It's a red smiley face. We have a
She's
pretty cool
really,
logo.
really proud of the logo.
I'm
Which is
super
absolutely
proud.
badass, by the way.
And but Facebook, it's Backhand Sally Music. YouTube, Backhand Sally Music. Everything but Twitter is Backhand Sally Music, and it's just Backhand Sally on Twitter.
Very cool. And new album, August?
August 9th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We got more concrete information now. It's August 9th.
August
I hate when
9th.
she puts me to an actual date.
And the release party is August 10th, and I'll make sure you get an invite to that if y'all
Yes,
want to drive to
please do.
Dallas.
You never know.
So,
You never know. We might be
y'all
able
come
to
that
do that.
direction. We'll be having we're excited about the
No,
release
August
party.
10th is my streamiversary, though.
Oh,
We'll
well.
have to see.
We'll just go live, man.
We can
We'll
just do
stream
that
it
thing
and
where
we'll
you
do it
go
all
live and you
together.
tap somebody in. I can't remember how you do that, but I know you can.
Backhand Sally featuring the ETX show, you know?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
that could be cool.
But
So
that is the date,
August
August
10th,
9th.
and we can expect probably distribution not long after that, right?
Right. And it'll be going out to some stations and early releases. You'll probably get a copy sooner than.
Nice.
Yeah.
We need one for the wall, for sure.
Yeah, definitely for the wall. And of course, proudly working on the artwork for that because I do all of that stuff. So I do.
True independent artist right here, guys.
I actually took classes so I could learn how to do all that stuff.
Really?
It's harder than you think it
really,
is.
No,
like,
it really
like
is.
all the Photoshop and InDesign.
We use GIMP, and I had to teach myself all of that
and
stuff.
Illustrator and those things.
It's scary, man.
It's a lot of stuff. But once you learn it, it's, you know.
Well, there's probably 600 buttons on GIMP I don't use.
Oh, there's tons on Photoshop.
There's only like 6. I'm like, okay, I know these 6. I'll use these 6.
I'm like,
people are just like, wow, that's super rudimentary, boss. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You saw it, right?
yeah, I'm like, blur this, make this skinny, put this filter on.
Exactly.
Done.
Oh, opacity. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it cooler.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it
Opacity.
transparent. Put this
40%.
layer.
Nah, 42 works. And then people are like, that's super simple looking. Well, you noticed it, right? Well, yeah. Well, okay, then it works.
That's all that matters.
Yep,
is that it
exactly.
works. But yeah, we're true independent DIY musicians.
Yep.
But
and that's what the ETX Rock Show is, DIY, learning everything on our own. It's that way, for sure. So it's BackhandSallyMusic.com. It's Backhand Sally Music everywhere except Twitter. Just take the music off for Twitter.
Correct.
And hit the follow, hit the like, hit the subscribe. They're on YouTube. Maybe we can expect more episodes
More
soon.
episodes. And we have a thing, well, we're going to get to that, the last song we're going to do, so I'll say what surprise comes with that if you purchase our current single.
Well, tell us about it, because that's going to actually be at the very end of the episode.
Okay, so our current single, One Pack of Cigarettes, if you purchase it directly from our website, which means all of the revenue goes to us, it doesn't split with Apple or Amazon, which that's fine too, but it's a flat fee, it comes straight to us. You get a copy of the lyrics and the story behind the song.
Ooh.
And we'll send that directly to you in that way, because people want to know, they're like, what is the story?
Yeah.
So it's written out on this really cool piece of downloadable paper. I'm not gonna.
$35.99.
Yeah.
I can come and have dinner with you at your house.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, who doesn't?
Wow, you heard it here first, guys.
Okay.
It's BackhandSallyMusic.com. We're gonna make it super easy for you too. We're just gonna put a link to the website in the description down below.
Awesome.
For $36, you can have Brock right at your house.
$35.99 plus
$35.99. Well, plus tax.
Shipping and handling.
Well, what kind of tax? Are we talking Texas tax or like federal or
sales tax?
Sales tax
yeah.
and shipping and handling.
Yeah, and there'll be a line for tips as well. So
okay.
And we have Venmo and PayPal, so it'd be easy for everybody.
So make sure you're checking out Backhand Sally. Buy the music, stream the music, all very important things. Support the artist, super easy to do. Big support is just by hitting like or follow or sub. And those
Sharing
are all
it.
completely free to do. You won't get Brock in your living room.
No.
But, you know, it's
but we will say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
She
so
will.
make sure you're doing that. At least half of them will say thank you. Guys, we want to thank you for tuning in to the ETX Rock Show, episode number 320, featuring Backhand Sally's first ever appearance on the show. Hopefully it won't be the last. We'd love to have you back.
I'd love to come back.
we can do 321 as well.
321.
Yeah,
We'll just do a whole series.
do all the 320s.
BS does ETX.
We want to do 420. We want to reserve 420.
420?
Yeah, we'll reserve 420.
I'll write that down. Maybe we can do that.
Yeah,
Let's do
I have a
it.
feeling there's going to be some competition for that episode. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. If you are tuned into our show for the first time today, we want to thank you guys for spending some time with us. We are located on all social media as well. You can find us at ETX Rocks. If you're watching over there on YouTube, thank you so much for doing so. But hit that subscribe button. That is absolutely the best way you can support the show, just by hitting sub. Apparently, there's also a bell on YouTube too, so you have to hit the bell. It doesn't actually ring though, which is weird.
No.
YouTube needs to get on that. But hit the bell that notifies you when we have content, because apparently the subscription's not enough.
Not anymore.
YouTube has to be really, really difficult. So apparently there's 4 things to do on YouTube now. It's subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment. Do those 4 things, please. And leave a positive comment, guys. The negative comments will be deleted. It's true.
I welcome all comments.
They don't bother
man.
me.
Well, you know, I don't mind negative comments. I do mind toxic comments.
I got you. Just like.
You know, like we just had a comment the other day where they were commenting on a guy's hat. Like, I think they said, maybe put a hat on that fits you.
Oh.
I was like, come on, that's awfully toxic.
Right.
That's pretty like, that'd be like the biggest compliment that I ever got. I don't think anybody's ever said anything that nice about me, right?
But it's not
Meow,
about the
meow.
music, so it bothered me a little bit. So I was just like, you know what? I'm taking that off. That's right. I have the power to
no
do
toxicity.
that. No toxicity on the ETX ROCKS show. That's right. We are a positive-based show, and we strive to be positive. So be kind to one another, guys. It's not hard to do. Buck the trend. That's what I say. Kindness is of short supply nowadays.
It is.
Really
but it still
is.
exists.
It does. Absolutely does exist. But it is unique.
It's overrated.
So it's okay. Be different and be kind. It is not overrated. Don't listen to him. You're not going to get people to pay $35.99
Don't be like Brock.
for that.
Yeah. I think
Hashtag don't be like Brock.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in
Oh my gosh.
cynicism. And
Too many Tuesday words up in here today.
Yeah.
We're talking convoluted cynicism, sieve,
Maneuver.
He likes that word.
We definitely want to thank Backhand Sally for spending some time with us. Absolutely amazing people and great musicians and artists as
Thank
well.
you.
Guys, we also have a website you guys should check out. It's etxrocks.show. Do not go to .com. Those people are horrible. Something about looking for rocks in East Texas. It's weird. Why do people do that?
I don't know. That's a thing everywhere. It's weird.
I don't know. It's not actually a thing. ETXRocks.com is not taken by anybody. I just like .show better.
All right. Well.
That's not true. It's not a true story at all. But check out the website. It's www.etxrocks.show. Over 10,000 hours of content on there. If you're a music fan, you're going to love it there. So check it out. We also have internet radio playlists going on over there. So you got live music that was played right here in the living room being played on the website. So check that out. And as we've said on this show for 320 episodes now, not 420, but 320. As we've said for 320 episodes, we want to thank you guys for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
that's right.
Have you seen the lonesome man as he winded down the road? He's got boots up to his knees and his back is slightly bowed. There's a pack of cigarettes where his heart's supposed to go. The same pack for 20 years, a memory of Mexico. Now for a small price to pay, he can tell you where to go. If you're needing some direction, it will only cost your soul. 'Cause one pack of cigarettes, a true love you won't forget, a broken heart with one regret, no love and no soul. You see, the man made a deal for the life of his love. The devil spared her on that day, but she was quickly called above. 'Cause death can't be reasoned with, an empty pack of cigarettes, a bad deal he'd soon regret, no love and no soul. The story we have told is a cautionary tale. Let life run its course, or you'll be living in hell. 'Cause one pack of cigarettes, a true love you won't forget, a broken heart with one regret, and no love and no soul. cigarettes. A true love you won't forget. A broken heart with one regret. No love, no soul.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks.